everyone. Welcome back to Diversify the Verse for our October book. If you were part of that challenge to get the other videos started, I am sorry. We finally got it fixed, and now we can finally discuss this book that I sadly has not finished yet. I'm only up to chapter 20, and I wasn't able to finish it on time. I wanted to, but you know, school and other things kind of just kept getting in the way. So, but Alex will continue the discussion. We're going to discuss as many questions as we can together, and then afterward Alex will answer like the final question, and then we'll just kind of do a wrap up together. Yeah, so let's say hi to Alex.
Oh, okay. Hey guys. Oh my god, that was so freaking annoying. Sorry about like the late start, but yeah, we're doing it. We're hoping if people can't join now, they can probably watch it later, since this is like one of the most interesting, I think, live shows. So yeah, we're discussing. Excuse me for my arc too. This is I'm gonna get a finished copy, I promise. But yeah, okay. And so we're going to announce our. Oh no, not yet, right?
No, we're going to talk our non-spoilery thoughts first. Oh, and also I will go back after I have finished the book and like answer any questions that I have yet to like answer in the comments, so you can definitely check that out afterward. We have all our questions listed in the description below if you want to follow along, and I guess we should talk about our non-spoilery thoughts. I am just, like I said, I'm only on chapter 26 right now, and I don't know, the book, it took me a little to get into. I guess it's kind of like a different writing style than what I've been reading lately. What have I even been reading lately? I don't even remember my last book. I've been reading French,
like contemporaries. Oh no, not contemporaries, like fantasy.
I read Warcross just last week. So not exactly fantasy, but yeah, so it took me a little to get into, and I'm starting to like it more. But I just like, these characters haven't really like reached, like connected with me yet that much. So I'm still kind of like, but I am liking it. I really like the setting and like kind of how she's been describing this world she's set up. Yeah. Alex, do you want to talk a little bit about your non-spoiling thoughts?
Yeah, I was like promoting on Instagram. So yeah, like my thoughts, it's very different. Like I know Belinda or some of you guys who before reading this have read The Young Elites, and apparently like that's like the same thing.
It kind of
right, like with a character you
Elites. So if you like that, maybe you'll like this too.
Yeah, so like a lot of people were telling me that, and I'm like, oh, since I really love this book, I'm half through The Young Elites now. But yeah, this is the first time, maybe not the first time, but like one of the like probably one of the best kind of examples of a character that you hate to love, or like an anti-hero, if that's what it's called. Really enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting reading about someone who's so like kind of like spiteful and kind of like untrustworthy, but then at the same time you really kind of like want to give her a hug, or you really want to help this character. So I found it interesting. Also, like, oh my god, the story was just so good. I don't know, man. Like I know some of it is based off of like, or not like the story itself, but I think some of the concepts in here are based off mythology. But the story itself was just really good. I thought it was an interesting like climb to the top kind of story. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Yeah. But yeah, so that was interesting, and yeah, I recommend it to all of y'all.
I think one thing I do like is that I don't know what's gonna happen. I think they even kind of pitched it as like an evil queen retelling set in East Asia, but I like have no idea what's gonna happen. Well, one, I don't really know the evil queen's like origin story, or if that even like exists as a fairy tale that can be retold, or maybe it will be later on. I just haven't gotten there yet, but I just like don't know what's gonna happen, and I'm just a little scared right now. And yeah, I don't know. I do like the aspects, I guess, like, you know, of mythology that she brings in. I mean, I'm not familiar with Eastern mythology, but if she is like drawing from those like mythological creatures and kind of like ancient gods of elements and things like that, I think those are like really interesting. And it kind of, you know, reminds me of Rashni Chakshi's what is it called? That was it. The girl, what is it? What is it called? Run, do you remember? It's like Star Touched Queen. Star Touched Queen. There we go. Star Touched Queen, where it kind of has that a similar kind of fantasy world that's interwoven in, and also with Flame in the Mist that we read like in May or something. We have a live show for that too, which you should check out. Yeah. Do you want to say anything else, Alex?
Yeah, the writing style was really good. I am a very picky person when it comes to writing style, so thank God this book wasn't like I know. Oh my God, I'm gonna say this. So like, Star Touched Queen is like one of your favorite books, Belinda. I know, but like for me, the writing style was just very like it was just I couldn't get into it. So I was glad that this was kind of, I guess, simpler for someone like me to understand. But yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, like it kind of has that same feel in the way that it has kind of like the same kind of mythological creatures that are kind of like, you know, a mix of different animals that we have in the real world, I guess. Yeah, kind of like that feel, and it's dark. It's like beautiful, but it kind of got this dark, grotesque-ish kind of mix in it, I guess. Twist to it. Yeah. So, if we don't have any more non-spoilery thoughts, do we want to announce our book for next?
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yeah, so we're gonna announce our next book, and then we'll launch into like a spoilery discussion of this. So our next book, Alex has it, so I will let her announce it. Oh, it's also gonna be for our like November and December read, because we decided, you know, because of the holidays, it will be easier to just not do a separate book for December. So yeah, Alex will announce it. I'm super excited.
Okay, so the November-December read is going to be Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. We're so excited, like honestly so excited to have another Jason Reynolds book. Well, we read our first, actually, it's actually really crazy because our first book, oh my God, you know, I just realized our first book was a Jason Reynolds book co-authored with someone else, but then we're ending the year with another Jason Reynolds book. That is actually, that's
that we love Jason Reynolds. He's like one of my favorite authors, I think. I don't have my finished copy yet, but I have an ebook copy I got from the library. But I am so excited to read this. I just totally like took it away from you. Do you want to keep talking?
No, it's yeah. So I mean, this book already came out. This book came out in October, so it's available. Like y'all can buy it, and it's written in like what is it? What do you call? What would you call it?
Verse. Like poetry, verse?
Yes. And I'm very interested because I have a tendency, I have read books that I did not like in verse. Ellen Hopkins books, which I just had a track record of not liking anyway. So I'm really excited to read about this one. I really like in the back, it just says beef. Yeah, we're really excited to read this, and most of our recommendations for the month of November to December are going to be book recommendations of like, what do you call it, like non-narrative style writing, or like graphic novels, poetry books that are diverse. So I think that's really interesting. I think not many people, that if anything is like the rare type of books, like diverse books. There's so many diverse books out there, but there's very little of them are like in verse or in like graphic novel form. So we're very excited.
Yeah, yes. So you know, we're gonna do like poetry, just like alternate storytelling formats, I guess, because you know there are a lot of diverse books. I mean, but they're just like not as known or not as popular. So we just kind of like want to highlight that. I have like a lot of graphic novels. I'm a lover of graphic novels, so I'm excited to share those. But I'm just like super excited for Long Way Down because I know that Jason Reynolds got started as a writer doing poetry. He was like inspired by Queen Latifah, which inspired him to go into like actually like see himself in literature and like write books and stuff. And so I'm just like excited to see how he, you know, his interest in poetry and his like origins in poetry into this book. And also I just kind of think that it's a really kind of important topic. I haven't seen the synopsis in a while, so I guess I can't really say much. I think it's, you know, like okay, so what happens is like a boy, his brother gets like shot and killed by like a gang, I think. So he gets his brother's gun and he's gonna go take revenge, and he goes down the elevator, and at each floor someone from the past who is dead comes onto the elevator and like talks him or something like that. So I think it's just like really interesting and don't get to see so much, and it's gonna, I don't know, I'm just super excited. I love Jason Reynolds. I've never been let down by any of his books, and the cover is just beautiful, just like Alex, it's just amazing.
I know, it is like reflection, and it's also really heavy too. Like the pages you can tell are different like different whatever, but it's like really heavy, so I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Yay.
I'm really excited too. And there's also just like been a lot of more media on Jason Reynolds with this book, so definitely like check that out. I know he's done some interviews and some magazine things, and just, you know, any way you can support a diverse author who is doing a lot of good in the literary community. Okay, so should we launch into our discussions?
Yes, okay. I can start with the first question if you want. So, also, by the way, we're sorry if we butcher some of the names.
Yeah, butcher all these names. There's a pronunciation guide, but
there is. But I'm gonna try my best to say it like that, even though it should be easy. Oh yeah, I'm so excited. Okay, so first question is it right for Xifeng to lead way on like she is doing? Do you think Xifeng will end up with him in the end? Start answering it. In the beginning,
don't tell me the end one. Please don't.
No, yeah. About what I thought of them, because I have the post-it. So, do I think it's right in the beginning? I was so pissed off, actually, because I even have like notes on them, like, why is she doing this to him when she knows, like, she even knows her end game. Like, it would be different if she didn't know what she wanted in the end, and her destiny was written out for her, but it was like what she didn't want. But she actually wanted to end up with the emperor. So, like, well, I'm gonna end up with Wei, even though my destiny says this. So, I think she was being a little bit of a snake like that. Think she should have been leading him on like that, especially since he was so in love with her. Like, oh my god. And do you think Xifeng will end up with him in the end? I honestly, yes. I think, you know, he's gonna end up with. I mean, I thought this is like true love prevails in the end, but yeah. So what about you? Oh, Belinda. Oh yeah, you know the ending. So yeah, go ahead. I want to hear this.
And I was kind of like annoyed. Well, one, her goal of being empress, especially right now as I'm reading, I'm like, you know, or she's contemplating, or she's like just realized the fact that the old empress has to die for her to be empress, and that she has to like kill the empress. I'm like, you don't have to kill the empress. You can just wait 20 years and she'll probably be dead by then. Like, why do you need to be empress now? Like, I don't get it. Like, why does it have to happen now? And like, why do you need to kill her to be empress? Like, you could just become her daughter and maybe she'll crown you empress or something. Or marry her son. Like, that's another alternative to killing people.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't like how she's kind of leading. I mean, I really like Wei, like, well, I like Wei to some extent. I feel like, you know, he's so in love with her, and he's always like, you know, this isn't, like, the darker part of her, he's like, this isn't you, this is Guma, this is your aunt's fault that you kind of like think like this. I'm like, you know, yeah. I guess, you know, it is part of her aunt's kind of the way that her aunt has taught her and like raised her, but there is, you know, a part of Xifeng. I don't know, I'm gonna say her name wrong. I keep saying like Xifeng whenever I read it, but so I'm sorry, but I feel like, you know, in everybody there's you can't pick and choose people, like their traits that you like and you don't like. You can't just write off one side of them because you think that's, you know, like not the true person, as like somebody else. And I don't know, that was just kind of like how I was like feeling uncomfortable with their relationship, because like he was just so adamant, and he was like, I'm gonna take you away from this. He just like, and like kind of that whole idea where she was also hesitant was like she didn't want to be under like his control, like she didn't want to belong to him. And I guess, I mean, he does kind of have a more equal, like, because he's like, you know, I want you to belong to me like I belong to you, because he definitely like feels like, you know, she owns him in a way. So I mean, I can see that, but also I mean, I can understand, this is like so rambling. I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't really like how she was leading him on, I guess, too. And I don't know that she feels like that she has to sacrifice him. I'm like, you know, sacrifice doesn't mean that you have to like completely lose him or kill him or something. Like, you can interpret it as you want. I mean, you don't know the future. Plus, like, why does this happen to happen now? It's like, why do you need to be empress now? Like, why can't you just wait 20 years until everyone's dead?
She doesn't want to wait because she's gonna be old then, and her beauty's like well, not the only thing, but like her beauty's such a big like, yeah, that's another that I should ask that question. But yeah, her beauty is like a big
Ask your question. Your beauty question. Okay, I guess I'll come up with a question on the spot about beauty. I don't know. I guess we don't have to make it a question, but we can just like discuss it, like her and her relationship with beauty and how she kind of ties beauty as like her only weapon and her only like a power. Like, I don't know. What do you want to talk about it, or should I talk about it first?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I don't know. I was just like really annoyed that her beauty is like her only like source of power, that she feels like is her only source of power, which I guess, you know, does tie back to the way that Guma has raised her to believe that her worth is only in her beauty, and which is, you know, it's definitely something very important and relevant today, where, you know, still kind of treated and seen as they're like only seen like materially, not seen as, you know, like for who they are, but how they look. And I guess, you know, that's great that we're gonna probably tackle that in this book. But I don't know, it just kind of like annoyed me, like whenever when she got injured by, what's her name, the lady's son, when she like scratched her face and she was like completely devastated, or like when, you know, Guma hurt her in the beginning and she's like completely devastated and like worried about having scars and whatever, and like people noticing it and nobody wanting her anymore. And I mean, we live in a world where it's a bit different. Like, I feel like in this world, you know, it's very much tied to, sadly, and in this world too, sadly, that's still the case. But I don't know, I just like, no, you are way worth more than how you look. Like, stop caring so much. It's gonna scar, but nobody will notice, and who cares? And I don't know.
And yeah, I agree. Like her entire plot to like go to the top, like that itself shows how she's like super clever, and like how like she was able to kind of plan this whole thing out and be like really sneaky. So like I don't really understand why. I mean, I do, of course I understand, since it's such a big societal problem anyway, but like, yeah, that should have been a better question. See, that's why we don't leave me to make the questions myself, because I suck at making questions. So
no, you did a good job.
But yeah, overall.
But yeah, I don't know. Just, I mean, it definitely is like, I think, if the evil queen, is it the evil queen from like Snow White? Do we think?
I thought I never read like a evil queen story unless it's like a story itself, because that like I haven't read that.
I mean, Winter has the evil. I mean, like Cinder, Lunar Chronicles has the evil queen in it. With Levana. But
is she the evil queen?
She's the evil queen because, you know, Winter is the Snow White. But yeah, I think that's kind of like the thing with the evil queen is like vanity. And I don't know, I guess like there are a lot of times I've written in my notes, I have my notes, why are you so vain? So I was like, yeah, so that was definitely something that annoyed me. Do we want to move on to question number 2? How does Guma's presence in Xifeng's life affect her relationship with Wei? Well, she hides her relationship with him, and she, I don't know, I guess, that's also the thing where she's like, you know, I have to be this, like, why do you have to be empress? Like, can't you have a nice life without being the empress? But yeah, okay, so how does it affect her relationship with Wei? I mean, I feel like she's just very hesitant about relationship with him, and also, you know, the concept of love. Like, she's only really known this broken corrupted kind of like version of love with Guma, who is just like, she's terrible. I like hate her. But at the same time, I'm like, what happened to this woman to make her so cruel and just, I don't know. It's definitely like a really abusive relationship that Guma and Xifeng have, and that definitely I feel like will impact her relationship with any other person. Like always being like hesitant and always just kind of, I don't know, being like hesitant and being suspicious and not really trusting and not really feeling like she's kind of capable of loving or being loved, and just kind of maybe being attracted to the wrong types of love, because like Xifeng, she's with Guma, she really wants Guma's love, and there's like those parts where Guma starts to show affection. She just like wants to forgive her because she's just like wanted that like her entire life, and I don't know, I feel like that to affect how she relates with not just Wei but other people, and I don't know what else to say about it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh my. Sorry. Yo, okay, just to interject, someone just commented on the live chat saying, I don't want to ruin your live show, but I wanted to ask how I got motivated to read. Okay, yeah.
We can answer that, yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, why not? I guess it's a live show for discussion. So you go first since it's on you.
Okay. How you get motivated to read? So for me, I basically get motivated to read when I'm reading something I want to read. I know it's kind of like a stupid thing, but like you have to find that one like story or synopsis where you just want to find the answer to. Like I feel like with the book that I'm reading now, especially, I am not motivated to read it because I have no investment in kind of what the story is kind of following along. It could be the characters or whatever, but you want to find that like one story where the synopsis where you first read it and you just want to get in, you just want to dive into it. So yeah, my tip sucks, but come on, Belinda, let's.
Okay, so obviously I had some motivation problems because I didn't start this book until yesterday at midnight. But I guess how to get out of a slump. Well, one, sometimes you just gotta force yourself out of a slump. Like it's not gonna happen without you just picking up a book and being like, I'm gonna read this. And if you don't like it, pick up another book and just like read that. And some books they just take a while to get into, and you just gotta like sit yourself down and be like, I'm gonna read this and do it. Otherwise, like, I was not super obsessed with reading. I wasn't super obsessed with reading until I started Bookstagram, and then I like read like a ton. But I would, just randomly pick up books. I get a bunch of books from the library, and they just sit on my coffee table until I finally decide to pick them up. And I would just like pick up a random book, and boom, it's been a day later, and I finished it. I'm just like a really big binge reader, so that's kind of when I get into a book, like I just go for it. Otherwise, you can read something that you really love in the past. Like, a lot of people will say, I really love Harry Potter, so they'll go back and reread Harry Potter to get them back into reading. But also just don't be just like upset with yourself for not being into reading. Like it's totally okay if you need to take some time. Like sometimes after I read books, I just like don't want to read books anymore because like I just need time to process that. Or if you're busy doing other stuff, like that's totally fine. I mean, we all need some time to just like refresh our minds and get back into it. Also, just maybe trying a different format of book or different genre. If you've been reading a lot of the same genres, try something different. Even if it's not a genre that you normally read, like maybe it's something new that you might be interested in. Or a different format, like maybe you want to try out like poetry or like graphic novels or nonfiction, biography, memoir, audiobooks kind of save me too, because with audiobooks you just kind of like turn it on and it goes, and you don't really like get to choose whether you're in a slump or not. If you just press the button and it'll just read to you. And audiobooks I think would be a great way to try to get back into it, because you can do other things while you're listening to the audiobooks. You can like multitask and you're reading at the same time you're getting other stuff done. So yeah, that was a lot of advice, and I hope something works for you. And you can join us for our next read. That'll maybe motivate you because you'll have like then you can come join us for our live show. I just realized you were staring at Alex the entire time. I'm sorry.
That's why I was like,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so I think let's get back to the questions. But yeah, thanks for asking questions. Anyone can ask, but like, wow. Okay. So your next question is. Oh yeah, wait. First, let me answer it. Oh my god, that's so funny.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I stared at you the entire time. You should have said something.
How does Guma's presence? So yeah, like we said before, Guma was. I think that like, why I don't know like. Why she was so easy to accept her. I think you said it really well, and yeah, of course it affected her relationship with Wei because Wei was always telling her, Wei always kind of like knew what to say. Like he always said like, why are you like listening to someone who doesn't have your best interest at heart? Like, you know, like she like Guma like actually like physically abused her and mentally too, and like actually making sense where he was like, why do you listen to someone who seems like she doesn't care about you, you know? But obviously Xifeng has like this idea in her head that like, you know, she really loves her other than what she does to her. So yeah, I think you answered the question there. So I'm gonna move on to the third one.
You know what else? Okay, it reminded me of Rapunzel, the Disney movie with like Rapunzel and the mother.
Oh yeah. Tangled, right?
Yeah, Tangled. Yeah, the Tangled Disney movie where like her like she really like. I mean, it's a Disney movie, so they didn't really get into like the abusive aspect that much, but it kind of reminded me of that, of how it was just, you know, like love, but it was like a double-edged sword.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't know. Okay, next question.
Okay, that's I love when you like interject with that. Okay, what's Xifeng's real reason for wanting to become empress? Do you think it's just to fulfill her destiny or it's something more? I don't think, I thought it was something more like other than like what her Guma's saying. Like I think it's like it's not just proud, even though that would also be like a huge benefit on the side. But I think it's just for herself as well, because in this entire novel, we're kind of seeing her grow, and like you said, even through Wei's relationship, we see her want to be this kind of like individual female, or like really powerful female. And I think that in this time period and in this kind of fantasy world, it's like, you know, normal, or like she's used to being kind of like, what is it, like looked down upon, you know what I'm saying? She's not used to being seen as like the most powerful person in the room. So I think this is also for herself as well. But yeah, what do you think?
Okay, well, answer that question in the comments and I will talk. We'll look at my face this time. I don't know. I feel like, you know, I think definitely part of it is, you know, wanting to feel empowered, but at the same time, it's like, you know, she goes and she lives in the city of women with the empress, and you can definitely see how the empress, I mean, like, she has power, but at the same time, she doesn't exactly have as much power as the emperor, even though she is like the one with the royal blood, which annoys me. So I feel like that should change her like views of being empress. Like, I still don't understand why she needs to become empress like right now. But I guess, you know, like that, you know, to feel empowered, but also, you know, to fulfill her aunt's dreams for her. And because, you know, she thinks it is her fate, and I guess it is her fate that she should go and chase after it. That it's her destiny. I think that's kind of mainly it that I can see so far. I don't know. I kind of have like a mixed relationship with her. I like her, but not really. Like, there's sometimes that I'm like, yes, I'm rooting for you, and there's other times where I'm like, you're so misguided. So
yeah, that's interesting. Oh my god, I totally forgot that. Like, I read this book a while ago, but like, that's interesting. Like, Empress Li Hua, I'm looking at the pronunciation. Empress Li Hua has the royal blood, yet Emperor June is making all the decisions and the shots, and she's kind of being like neglected. Like he's taking on multiple wives, and like that's the thing where when like you marry into the family, the king is obviously supposed to have more power than the queen. I guess that was like the thing, and it in monarchical societies, that was really sad, honestly, to see. I mean, even you haven't read to the end yet, but even while you're reading, she's kind of pushed to the side while he's taking on more wives, and he's kind of showing favoritism to his wives. He's not giving Li Wal kind of like the attention that she deserves as the first wife and like the person with the royal blood. So yeah, that makes sense. Next question.
I feel like I had something to say. Oh yeah, this is the other thing of, you know, why does Xifeng want to become empress and just like she's gonna be the wife of this dude who's like not, she'll have some power but not really. So I feel like she should just become empress by herself and like not.
Yeah, but I think her idea was to be
court. Like I feel like, you know, getting in with the royal family is not really gonna work. So I feel like she's gotta like conquer them all, and then she'll be empress or something. Like I don't know. Chase after like the gods. That might be a better idea.
Yeah. Like so, I think her idea was like, oh, I'm gonna marry Emperor June, and then I'm gonna become like more sophisticated. Like I'm gonna somehow like I literally think she's gonna kill him.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure her idea was just to marry him and become empress, because she was talking about, you know, marrying him. About killing him.
She wants the power though. She's freaking power hungry. But yeah, so it's interesting. Throughout this entire book, she is kind of like power hungry. So
yeah. Okay. So we'll go to the next question, which I think is my turn to ask. Do you agree with Wei's decisions to leave Xifeng? Did he really have a say in leaving her? Oh, is this like, you know, when she woke up and he was gone?
Yeah.
You mean, okay. I feel like he didn't really have a say in leaving her. I mean, like, he knew that they were going on separate paths, and maybe, I guess, it's, if he truly loves her, he should let her do her thing. Knows that she's not going to give up on this task. You know what? I feel like she should have let him in on, like, more of what's going on. I feel like that's what she should have done, because he's kind of like in the dark and he doesn't know what's happening. And I feel like he kind of deserves to know since he has a role in it, which also kind of reminds me of the Grisha Trilogy, which I don't think have you read that? No?
Grisha, no.
No. Again, it kind of reminds me of that. I don't know, like, why. I guess I don't really want to say it why exactly, because you haven't read it. But, if you have read it and you feel like there's a connection between the two, we can discuss this. But yeah, I don't know. I guess, you know, I feel like I don't know. I feel like their paths had to go into different directions.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like, you know, what?
No, go ahead.
I feel like they both need to find themselves and their voices still. Like, Wei is definitely very much tied to Xifeng, and Xifeng is very much on her own path. And I feel like, you know, I think they need some space, because I also don't feel like their relationship is exactly in a very good place, at least at this point. And I think, you know, working on themselves and having that distance will hopefully help with that, even though they're just like about to meet, and I haven't read that part yet. You can go.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I was really planning that he would be able to like change her mind. Like I think him leaving, like the reason I asked this question was because I wanted to kind of see what you all thought about him just letting her pursue this kind of like disastrous, and of course it was propelled by Guma, so he already knew that it was like really just not what she wanted. Like I think he kind of knew in his heart that she really loved him, and him kind of leaving. I don't want to blame him, because of course, like, yeah, you can't do anything, man. Like, force her, you don't want to, like, you know, make her do anything that she doesn't want to do. And when she's so set on her destiny. But like at the same time, I thought like if he really loved her, he would save her from this really disastrous destiny. But okay, I don't want to judge.
He is. He doesn't know what her destiny is. He's just kind of, and he doesn't believe it.
But like he knows. Oh yeah. Shoot, yeah. He doesn't. Okay, he doesn't know that she was there for the reason she was there. But at the same time, like if he really loved her, that was really sad. That was a sad part of the book that I kind of stumbled upon. But that's the only reason I asked that question. Like I said, I make really shitty questions, so
that's okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about his character either. You know, this, I guess that was like my hesitation with this book going in. It was just like I didn't have any like really strong feelings for any of them. Like I like him, but he's also like not been in the last 100 pages. So yeah, I don't know. And like Xifeng, I don't know about her. There's times I root for her, and there's times where I'm like, no, girl, you're so wrong. Okay, next question. You get asked.
Okay, so how does Xifeng reveal the darkness inside of her in these next few chapters? So, okay, so like in these next few chapters, I'm gonna like try to be cautious because I don't want to spoil you. Like I'm trying not to, but like she is like super sneaky, and she starts scheming against people and start to plan like downfalls. And I think one person who was kind of there, you know, the eunuch, Kang.
Huh?
That little butterfly. Who? who's Kang.
Kang? Oh, like the helper guy?
Yeah, it's called a eunuch, right? A eunuch?
Oh, something like that, yeah.
Oh, I've been saying that forever.
I don't know how to say it. I was probably like saying Enoch.
Let me go to
let me look it up.
Let me see some. Yeah, but like she definitely gets a lot darker. She starts like thinking really, really like strong. Like when have you gotten to the part where Lady Sun hits like, you know, scratches?
Tries to kill her?
Yeah, like she was like, oh, she was like so mad, and she was like, oh, I'm gonna kill her. Like she's
part right before the festival.
Oh, okay. Be careful. But yeah, she was like, oh, like this person's gonna be the first one to die, and she was having just really, really like, you could see as the book progressed that her thoughts got kind of like muddled, and it was just, it was actually kind of like scary to read itself. And you can see also the snake starts making a lot more appearances symbolically in the book. Like that's a huge symbol of the snake, which is supposed to reveal like the god, right? Like the god of like darkness, or I forgot what was it. That sounds stupid. The god of darkness, some evil spirit or god that Guma always talked about. And we could see definitely in the chapters that he made such a big appearance. What was his name? I don't know, but it was like some snake. It was a creature, and yeah, that kind of was really scary to me, especially when she was eating the hearts and like the, what is it called, the lifeblood or something. Like that was so creepy. Oh my god, stop! Don't do that. Like, what is this?
That was disgusting. Like I'm like, no. Like, are you like that vain?
No, but not even that, but like, what does she think that's gonna help her with? Like, I when I was reading that, I'm like, honey, that ain't gonna help you, okay? You can just drink, like, you don't, like, why are you drinking blood of, like, and it was, like, not, it was, like, raw, like, she just killed them, and she freaking, like, drinking the blood, like, no.
I guess that's also kind of, like, why it reminded me of Tangled, not because eating the hearts, but, you know, like, she'd use her hair to make her look young and, like, replenished.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, have you watched Snow White and the Huntsman?
No, not all of it.
Okay, well, if anyone has watched Snow White and the Huntsman, guys, that queen, that evil queen in there, that is literally like Xifeng, okay?
So she definitely is the evil queen.
Yeah. Okay. So
wait, I gotta answer this question. What is it?
How does Xifeng reveal the darkness inside of her? Since you read it more recently.
I feel like I haven't gotten that far yet, but I mean, I do see like the trend of her getting more dark, especially after what happened with the Lady Sun. And she's like, oh, I gotta kill her and like get rid of her, and then also, you know, thinking about like how she's gonna have to kill the empress, which she doesn't have to do. She doesn't need to be empress right now. You know, like your fate can be like how many years from now? It doesn't need to happen right now. So I think definitely like she is getting darker and just kind of like looking towards, you know, more of those darker methods of getting her goal, like, you know, those schemings. Like she was trying to like hint that Lady's son was going to poison the empress or something like that, or like the emperor. And what else? I don't know. I think, yeah, she definitely is becoming dark. Just like her thoughts are, I guess, you know, also kind of getting a little muddled. Definitely.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Next question. How do you think Xifeng is becoming more like Guma? Well, she's using magic. One. Evil magic. She killed those rabbits and ate their hearts. She's scheming.
Yeah.
I feel like, and also just kind of, maybe here's another thing, like taking advantage of someone's love. That
Yeah.
That is, kind of, I don't know. I'm just like, I don't like the relationship between Xifeng and the empress. Like, I really wish that to kill her, because I really like it. I guess, you know, it is kind of hard because it's like, you know, she's the empress, and, you know, maybe this is just like a thing for now because you're the new girl. But I think, you know, like some of the feelings between them are really genuine. And if she lets that grow, then it will, you know, kind of be more real to her. Like, I really like how the empress, you know, kind of sees her as a daughter and really tries to kind of treat her like that. And how Xifeng really like sees her kind of as a mother, but she's kind of, you know, taking that advantage of the relationship there, and just kind of like the empress's weakness of always wanting a daughter. And I feel like that's kind of as well, where, you know, she kind of took advantage of being, you know, the motherly figure to Xifeng, and manipulating that love that Xifeng has for our aunt. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Wow, you always say like all the points.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. But like, yeah, like her relationship with Wei, I was going to say Wang, with Wei and Empress Li Hua, like, okay, I understand with like Wei, like she was, like she already got, like halfway through the book, we already see like he leaves her, and like their relationship is kind of like non-existent at this point. I mean, you're at the meeting part, and I don't want to spoil anything, but with Empress Li Hua, like, yeah, like she was also, because like Empress Li Hua always wanted a daughter, and she kind of, in that moment, she kind of treated Xifeng like a daughter, and her just taking advantage of that, and kind of like her like showing her love back, like reciprocating it. It's kind of like making Empress Li Hua like kind of like think like, oh, nothing's gonna happen. She loves me. She's not gonna do anything. But then when something actually happens, she's gonna be super surprised and super betrayed also. So yeah, I hated that. And yeah, I honestly I think she's becoming more like Guma, like in every sense. I'm treading on like some like ice right here. I don't want to spoil anything.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We can talk about it after I'm gone.
No, it's fine. Wait, so are you on questions? Can I say question 7 or no?
Yeah, I was gonna say something else. Oh, I was gonna say, you know, like what she could do. She could become like the daughter of the empress, and then the empress can marry her off to her son, and then she'd be empress.
Wait, that was actually okay. So you
know, killed.
You know the Crown Prince?
Yeah.
The Crown Prince. Like in the beginning when she met the Crown Prince, like I actually thought like, oh hey, here's your way up to the ladder, like marry him. Like, I don't understand. That was so.
No, then she doesn't have to kill anybody. I mean, that would be a great solution, because, you know, she wouldn't have to kill anybody and sacrifice her morality, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, but like,
question 7.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah, question 7. Okay. How did Lady Sun's relationship encounter? Wait, what relationship encounter? What? Okay. How did the encounter between Lady Sun and Xifeng in her room alter her relationship with the Emperor? Okay, that was a really. Did you get that one?
Are we talking about this? Okay, so if we're talking about the scene where she like met the Emperor and she didn't know it was the Emperor, I mean, she figured it out.
Map?
She met him like, and he was like in a room with a gigantic map that he was gonna give to the Empress.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the Lady Sun comes in and then just like beats her up.
Yeah, I'm talking about that one. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you answer it.
Okay, well, that was my favorite part of the book.
What?
Okay, at this point, like when I met the Emperor and when I like saw, like I don't know, I just hate to say it, but I was like rooting for the Emperor and Xifeng. See, this is like what's with these books, what these books do to me. Like they make me root for someone even though I shouldn't be, and for this relationship even though she just literally met him. But okay, also you have to admit, like he was super sincere, like talking to her.
Yeah.
Around like that kind of guy, man, like that kind of like Prince Charming. But we all know that he has a different side. Like even throughout this entire book, he is portrayed as like a very loving, well, like, you know, to the current wife. But yeah, this part was interesting because I thought, like, especially, oh my god, like when Lady Sun started like hitting, like you're just destroying your relationship with the Emperor, okay? You're basically like, this is some innocent girl and you're hitting her, you're just destroying your relationship. So that was an interesting part, and it definitely kind of gave her that advantage of being kind of like, what is it called, like the damsel in distress, needing the Emperor's help to save her. So yeah, I thought this was an interesting part. What did you think?
Well, that wasn't my favorite scene in the book, which is interesting to know that it's your favorite scene. I mean, it definitely, like, you know, brings their rivalry up to like a whole new level. Lady Sun, oh gosh, I really hate that woman.
Yeah, I hated her.
But I also really pity her. Like, you know, this is what she's kind of like been forced to do, and like because she's living in this world, like this is like how she has to live, and she has to like to, you know, survive. She feels like she needs to still be in like the Emperor's favor, and she, you know, has to put on like this like show of it, and she's, you know, like super jealous and like afraid of any, like, you know, young person who's gonna come up and try to steal her. I really pity her in that way, but I also just like really hate her. It's just terrible. What if Lady Sun were like in a room together? Like, that'd be an interesting conversation. But are you talking about the relationship with Lady Sun and Xifeng?
No, like, okay, I was basically saying, like, how did this kind of encounter propel Xifeng, like kind of show her to the Emperor? Like, one interesting question that I think was brought up from your discussion was, like, so, you know how Lady Sun kind of, like, rules with fear, right? Like, she rules, like, with people kind of fearing her, the Emperor included. Xifeng is the same way. Like, does she want to rule like that with people fearing her or people loving her?
I'm pretty sure she's gonna rule with people fearing her because she's not that lovable. I'm sorry, but
she isn't that lovable. But I think to us, since we know all like what she's scheming, what she's doing, but you know how like, who is it? Okay, so like the Emperor has no idea what she's done, so he kind of has like loving her in that sense. But like everyone thinks she's so beautiful. Maybe that's why they'll kind of like listen to her. And she's like she looks very nice and very kind. Like her outside appearance is different from her inside.
I think it's interesting because I feel like, I'm sorry, but sometimes people kind of look like how their personality is. And sometimes when people are mean, you can kind of like see it, make the connection. I mean, you gotta like get to know them and to see that they're mean, but feel like you can kind of make the connection sometimes. So for her to be like just super beautiful person, but to not have a very nice soul, I don't know. I guess. Yeah, I think it definitely will make her stand out with the Emperor. Like, I'm not that far. She's only encountered him once. And then he, like, went and comforted Lady Sun. So, I don't know how it's gonna go with them.
Okay. I can't wait for you to read the rest of the book. It's literally, like, so freaking thing. So you can't answer question 8, right? Oh, actually, you can.
I can. I'll ask it. Okay. To what extent has your opinion on Xifeng changed? Are you still rooting for her? So I'm going to answer this question up to chapter 26. And I guess I've been talking about it like the entire time in this live show. I just kind of have like a mixed opinion on her. Like sometimes I'm like, yes, I'm rooting for you. Like when she's up against opponents I like less, I'm like rooting for her. I'm like, go girl. But sometimes it's just, you know, that darkness, and also just kind of, I just don't get it. I'm like, why? Why do you need to kill anybody? Why do you need to be empress right now? I just ways in which she can empower herself that are not that do not involve killing people or ruling an entire empire and manipulation. So yeah, and she's getting darker, so I'm kind of scared. This is why I kind of compare it to the Young Elites, because I was absolutely afraid of everybody in Young Elites. That was a terrifying book. And am I still rooting for her? I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna end. Like, one, I don't know how this book ends, and I don't know how the series is gonna end. I feel like this book has to end with something like really to really like warrant the next book. I don't know if I'm rooting for. I mean, like I am kind of, because she's the hero, but at the same time, I don't agree with her. Yeah, I don't know. And also just like the whole idea of like this prophecy and fate. Like, you know, I'm not super idea that this is gonna happen, that it's like true that she's gonna become the empress and that she needs to become. I still don't get, like, why can't you just be satisfied with, you know, a good life that doesn't involve killing people and becoming empress? Okay, Alex, you can answer now.
So yeah, like I said, was rooting for her at the end, because I think like throughout it all, like I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I think throughout it all, even though the ups and downs, how dark she has become, you can't deny that she's like a really strong character. She's gone through all these like trials and tribulations. She's gone through heartbreak, gone through actual physical abuse, and kind of her accepting her destiny and seeing she's that kind of person who, like, even throughout it, she didn't get too excited at times. Like, she was just, well, and I think that just makes her a really strong character. But also there's something that happens in the end which makes you even doubt in the first place, like, her as a character and if she's doing this for herself. Once again, not going to spoil that. But yeah, out of all of it, like in the beginning, like I said, like I was kind of mad at her. I wasn't sure where the story's going, so I didn't really root her on. But at the end, I think at the end of this book, I'm still rooting her on because she, fudge! I can't. Okay.
You can say it after I'm gone.
Yeah. Okay. Like,
I was gonna say something.
Yes, I am rooting.
She wanted to be empress, and then when she's empress, that she'll be able to, you know, support Wei and like give him a good lifestyle, and, you know, support her aunt, and, you know, make sure that she's, you know, like well fed and things like that. And I'm still really mixed on her. Like, I don't know, I guess villains are kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to call her a villain just yet, because she is, I guess, you know, she's an anti-hero, but the way I've been thinking about it, because I've read Warcross, and I know you've read Warcross, and I'll try not to spoil anybody, but just, you know, like the becoming of a villain, how you reveal a villain and the transformation of a villain, I think is just really changes how I feel about their characters. Because, you know, there are some books where I'm like, you know, the villain, yes, I love you. And then there's some books where I'm like, no, it's not happening. So, yeah. I mean, I hope I do end up rooting for her. I mean, I'm really liking the book, so I hope that it doesn't disappoint me. In the end, yeah. Do you want to just keep going on now, or do you want to? Is there anything else you want to discuss together?
No. I just wanted to say, like, what you said about Warcross. Yeah, that in the end, what happened really, really made me change. Like, I even told you, like, it made me completely. I think I told you it made me completely change my view on this character, and I went from like liking to not liking, like in a minute. Like, even throughout the entire book, how I was like rooting for this. Just like no, like I imagine this person with someone else now, so that can change a whole lot. But I think in this one, where we see she was kind of a villain throughout the entire thing. Like these anti-hero, anti-villain, anti-hero like complexes are actually really interesting. I wish someone would do like a psychological study on it. Interesting why we still root for people we know are doing like not bad stuff, but are like the villains of the stories. That's very interesting, actually. Yeah.
It kind of makes me think of my own writing. Like my main book that I'm writing, my main character isn't the greatest person in the world, and just kind of, you know, it makes me think of how I want to. And this book actually like makes me think a lot about my book that I'm writing that I just like have not told anybody exactly what the plot is, but it does kind of, you know, make me think about, you know, the creation of a villain, which, you know, most fantasy books have, so we're keeping it general, and just kind of how your reader will kind of the relationship your reader will have with that person, like whether they'll like them or whether they won't like them, and I think it definitely depends on you, like how you reveal it. So I think are we good now?
Yeah.
We can discuss other things you come up with when I come back. So I am going to like mute this, and then Alex is going to answer the last couple questions because she finished the book and I haven't because I'm terrible. And I'll finish it tonight, hopefully. I'll just like stay up until however long and finish the book, and then I will put my responses in the comments afterwards so you can kind of see my thoughts on those questions. And yeah, so I'm gonna mute it now. You ready, Alex?
Yes. Okay. Okay, so next question. Do you think Xifeng is completely happy in her new position? What are some of her biggest regrets? So in the end, okay, now that she's not here, we can go along. We can go along and talk about kind of what happened in the ending. So in the end, we find out that yes, she becomes empress. Forget, did Empress Liwa die? I think she passed away in the book. Sorry if you haven't read this. This is all obviously spoilery parts by now. But in the end, she fulfills her destiny of becoming the Empress of Feng Lu. I almost forgot the name of this. And meanwhile, what happens is we also find out that Wei, on his mission to wherever he went to, he kills Guma. And we also find out that Guma is the mother. So a lot of things happened. What's the question? Do you think Xifeng's completely happy? I think in the end, I don't know about you, but in the end, when I was reading this part, it kind of sounded like she was pretty satisfied in her position. She kind of knew when she was standing next to the Emperor June. She kind of knew at that point. She's like, oh, I'm the Empress, but I'm going to be a better Empress than. And she actually kind of was really satisfied with being called. Like the Emperor kind of mentioned her and kind of is equal. So I think she's really satisfied with that. And she's satisfied with her position. But at the same time, she can't deny her love for Wei. So she can't deny how much she loves Wei. And when she receives that letter from him, I think she's kind of disappointed that Wei killed Guma because in her heart she still, like we said, loves Guma. But at the same time, she's still in love with him. So I'm really interested to see how that is kind of portrayed in the second book. Yes, there's going to be a second book. and how I hope Wei comes back. I'm pretty sure he's gonna make an appearance in the second book. Like, why wouldn't he make an appearance? And he is definitely going to make an appearance in the second book. And I hope that in the second book we see Wei become more of the central character. I feel like in this book he was a lot more of a side character. But I hope in the second one we see him become more of a central character and he actually begins to challenge her. That would be so interesting. Wouldn't that be interesting if we had Xifeng and like Wei kind of like two different sides and they were like challenging each other? I think that'd be really cool because then we would have a character or a villain who would be conflicted because she has a personal connection to the person that she is against. Interesting. What are some of her biggest regrets? Yeah, her biggest regret, one of them would be not like, you know, like keeping Wei in her life, because Wei at this point, she still has feelings for him, but he doesn't want to be in her life anymore. Point in time, because she obviously has a different goal. And I don't think I'm going to answer the last question because that question is just super stupid. Do you think things would have been different if Guma revealed the truth of Xifeng's true mother earlier in her life? Would she still have chosen this path? I don't think it would have changed because we see the relationship. Guma is her aunt, but then we find out that she's the mother. I don't think it really would have changed anything because if anything, it would have made her vision of becoming empress a little bit stronger because, like, if your mom is telling you something compared to your aunt, I think you would listen to your mother with not even like a grain of salt, but with more importance, and you would actually really want to make her proud because she's your mother. Was in the same path, so I don't know why I asked that question. But yeah, overall, I really, really enjoyed this. I'm gonna call back Belinda in a few. Really enjoyed this. I just thought it was such a great read. Just in terms of me not reading an anti-hero book before, never kind of seeing that conflict, when a personal conflict between character, like character to character conflict, and seeing that inner struggle of dealing with like what like entity is or destiny. But in the end, also, I didn't want to say this when Belinda wasn't here, but we all know that the snake god or the god of like evil was actually the one kind of felicitating this entire plan, and her sidekick Kang was actually a servant of like the god. So just knowing that, I feel like in the second book she has to find some way to conquer this because now it's not her running the show. It's basically this god of evil using Xifeng as like just like as a way, a means to an end. Yeah, so I definitely think like she's not even in control, even though she said like throughout this entire story she wants to be the empress, she wants to have total control. At this point she's not in control anymore because she knows there's this darker force and higher entity that has the control and is just using her. So it's kind of like a power struggle story. I at that point was not really like why is Xifeng still like, why is she submitting to this darkness? But yeah, overall, I am very happy. I loved the East Asian kind of aspect. And like I said, I've been trying to read a lot of books with Asian characters by Asian authors, and I'm really happy that we finally have some fantasy in the Asian diverse genre. I know there are some books that have a lot of it, like I know Cindy Pon has a lot of diverse fantasy Asian recs, but I feel like this is one that was one of the ones that was like promoted the most, like Teen's Game Changer campaign. So it was promoted a lot, like a ton. So I think in terms of like really popular with Asian rep have not been, there's like a scarcity of it. So I'm very happy about this. So yeah, I'm gonna call back Belinda because I suck at talking. Belinda! Yeah, I'm done. Did you?
We good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get to read anything?
Yeah, I did. I read like 5 pages.
It's finished. When you answer my question, Belinda, don't answer that last one because the last one is stupid. Okay, you're gonna find out why. But like, yeah, the last is stupid. But yeah, overall, I was just talking about how like this book was kind of like one of the most promoted books like with Asian rep. Like you know, I was a part of Penguin Teen's game changer books. Like usually when we talk about like New York Times bestsellers and like highly promoted books that are on Instagram, I don't really see a lot with Asian rep. So I was just talking about how it's really awesome that this book received like a ton of promotion.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of pictures on Instagram with it, which I guess is part to Fairy Loot choosing this book as their October. Oh yes, so there's a lot of pictures because sometimes with diverse books, especially when they're new, and if they're from new authors, they don't get as many photos on Instagram. So like I'm glad that we're getting this promotion with this, especially since she's a Vietnamese American. Vietnamese Asian American author, and I feel like we don't get as many Southeast Asian American authors that are pretty popular, which is great because my family's from Southeast Asia, and that rap is always great. Yeah, so did you like come up with anything else you wanted to discuss?
I think for now, I don't know. I really just want to come, but just like text me when you finish the book so that we can talk. But yeah, I think other than that, everything else is pretty like spoilery. So for you, at least.
I'm sure it's gonna like an explosive ending.
That's
what we just got to the party, and I'm sure stuff is gonna happen. And I'm skeptical. I feel like the queen, the empress, isn't gonna make it.
Don't say anything.
Don't say anything to me. These are just my suspicions. Yeah, I'm just scared for the ending of this book. Like, I hope it doesn't really kill me because I need to be alive. Yeah, so thank you all. I think we're gonna wrap it up. Oh gosh, we're just looking at Alex the entire time again. I'm sorry. Yeah. I think we're going to wrap it up now. Thank you so much for joining us for this discussion. I am really enjoying this book. I'm sorry I wasn't before him, but Alex did, which is great. There she is. Looking cute. Yeah, and I'm excited for our next book. Definitely follow us on Instagram to check out when we're going to host a read-along. I don't anticipate the book taking too long to read because it is written in verse, and those will probably go like faster. There's less words per page.
Yeah.
So definitely just check that out, and I will add my answers to the discussion questions afterward, and I think that is about it. Do you want to show them our book again, Alex?
Oh yeah, and I also want to put a little plug. If you guys are interested, I mean, I did read it for a blog. I did read wrong book. I did read Forest for a blog tour, and I did an interview. So if you're interested in that interview, we'll leave it. I'll leave it in the bio. We'll leave it in the bio of this. But yeah, it was really interesting. I think
all your info is in the description. So.
Oh, info. Okay, yeah, it's just on my blog. It's basically the first one, the first post on there because I really didn't post anything else. So yeah, just read it if you have time because she's really interesting. I really, really want to meet her. She's not doing any tours though. So I mean, in New York. So I guess not,
I saw her. She was in Minnesota, but she was here for like a booksellers thing, and I was like, darn it, I totally could have met you.
Damn it, I might be going to Minnesota soon, so hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining us. We had a lot of fun discussing. Sorry about technical difficulties if you were there for that. Yeah, so I'm going to say bye now. Bye. Alex, say bye.
Bye.
Okay, see you next time.